Michael Irvin has really went viral lately. And Michael Irvin has shared his thoughts and what it is that he has going on with the world. And it's based off of a conversation that they was having about Ja Morant, right? They were having a conversation about Ja Morant. And it's interesting that they was having a conversation about Ja Morant. Shout out to Chef Cartez Joan. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. They were having a conversation about Ja Morant because Ja Morant was basically being inspired by Coach Deion Sanders' recent tweet that highlighted how basically people needed to push through and get themselves together, right? They needed to push through and get themselves together. And so I found it interesting, very, very interesting, that he referenced something that is near and dear to my heart, in order to emphasize a point here. Let me let you hear it.
Ja has to make a decision. Ja has been blessed with gifts and talents that can take him and change the outcome for his family. But everybody's not meant to go where you're going. And sometimes some of the people that have helped you get to these places, it's hard to say, man, I appreciate all the work and all the things that you've done when we've had nothing and you've helped. But I got to continue to move and go forward and try to do things the right way. And sometimes that means you don't got to cut people off, but you got to distance yourself a little bit. You can't be with people all the time and running around. I got a son. He raps. His rap name is Tut Tarantino. If you ever listen to some of his raps, I'm like, oh, my God, where does this come from, son? You grew up in a gated community your whole life, but he's rapping my life because we romanticize and fantasize about that old thug life, ghetto life, and all of that stuff. When we used to work to get away from it, now we've gotten to a place somehow we're running back towards it in the music and everything. In the days I was coming up, all of those guys that you see, the Ja Morants, them hanging around, those guys were still around us, Key. But it was, they were like, get out of here. Stop doing this. You got a chance to make it out of here the right way. So those guys would try to tell you to stop being in these neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Stop hanging out. Go do what you have to do. It's not like that now. The guys are more hanging on and want to go with guys, and you're tearing up careers. I mean, we got to be good enough in the neighborhood to know when God has touched somebody with that gift that time is talking about, and be good enough to say, hey, man, you shouldn't be around here. You shouldn't be doing things. You got a chance to do it the right way and change a lot of lives and help out our people, and we got to be strong enough to do that.
Now, I decided to, and I 100% agree with what it is that Michael Irvin just said, right? And I decided to do a little bit of research because I wanted to know if and who his son was, right? And he said, listen, similar to Ja Morant, I got a son that's obviously not an NBA player, but it's very much a similar situation. He's become immersed in this demon culture that we love and we support so much, and he's decided that he wanted to name himself Tut Tarantino. Tut Tarantino, right? And so if you go through Tut Tarantino's profile, and this, what Michael Irvin said was like over a day old, right? And so I'm expecting, okay, well, Tut Tarantino, or the son that was raised in a gated community of Michael Irvin, he has time to make some adjustment and erase this. He has time to make some adjustments and erase this. But instead, Tut said, I'm doubling down. So let's just go to the first post of Tut.
Whipping, try going crazy, all this money, it's a shame. No bunny, hoes in love with coke, I'm choking shorty, out no cane. The money is the fucking motor, without no way, I'll move the same. I'm taking designer drugs, man, in my cups, gonna wash away the pain. I'm smoking Zaza, eating pasta, I'm a big boss, ain't kicking game. The way she shut me up, I can't help but fuck, I beat it out the frame.
mercy, Lord, be offense. So my first question is, I am very much a nerd. I am corny. I like to read books, right? I like to watch movies. When I get some off time, travel, stay in a house, maybe spend some time with my daughter. As we see how things are playing out here in the world, and you guys continue to embrace this trash culture, what shall we do? If the brightest amongst us that were raised in a gated community goes back into something that they never even experienced before in their life and they glorify it, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with it? His father is making a killing sitting next to Skip Bayless, and instead of him trying to follow in his father's footsteps or maybe leverage the fact that he has a significant amount of resources in order to go to school and become whatever, this is the type of nonsense that we got to deal with. This is it. This is it. Good father, good home. Clarence's parents had a really good marriage, right? Clarence's parents had a really good look at him.
Running out money, high as fuck, I'm blushing like a speaker. Don't even touch me right now, bitch, I'm still, I might start tweaking. Last time I had seen me, I was in a 550 speeding. I know I got him mad at much, I'm popping out this weekend. I was making more than 550 for 12, ain't even thinking. It's paper on my mind, I'm on my ground, y'all sleeping. Yeah, nigga. Where the defense at, can't count, I'm getting tired of all the scoring. How they claiming they no little word with no ties to your boy. You disrespect me once, now look, I'm getting fried off your boy.
I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. Honestly, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. Look at this fool. Look at this child. Look at this baby. Flexing daddy's money. And let's be clear, it's nothing wrong if daddy have money for you to flex. But what are you selling? Look, you got the purple soda with the Sprite on it. Y'all know what that's supposed to mean. He drinking lean with the bandana on it, with the soda on the side, chicken noodle soup with the soda on the side. Let me send him a message. Somebody got to tell him. Somebody got to tell him, bro. Y'all out here wasting money, wasting resources. It's somebody that'll kill to be in y'all spot, but y'all out here being dummies and crash dummies voluntarily. How you gonna voluntarily to be a crash dummy? How you gonna volunteer to be a crash dummy? You over here looking like a fool. Yo, daddy done put his body on the line. He working hard every single day. He over here putting it up, grinding, hustling, and you out here making him look bad. That's why I say your legacy cannot be tied to your children, because a lot of people say, oh man, you got to have some kids so that you can have a legacy and it can continue after you. So what? He can ruin it? He can ruin it? Come on, man. Listen, at some point, his father really need to send him to the streets so that he can understand what it means to be in the streets. Cut him off. Cut him off. When you coddle your children too much, when you coddle your children and you allow for them to continue to live off of your legacy while leveraging your assets to continue to do bad, every man has to suffer. Every man got to go through it. When you give your kids cars, when you give them access to things, especially as sons, especially your boys, you have to allow them to go through it most of the time in a controlled environment so that they don't have to suffer when they become adults. Now this dude can't read at a third grade level. Want to be just like who it is that he listened to and who he see on the TV, and he think that it's cool getting a Fanta and then pouring cough syrup in it. They think it's cool. They think it's cool to get a Fanta and pour cough syrup in it. When we gonna start being real? See, a lot of people think that I'm hard on the women, but y'all don't see what really happens with the guys. I will cuss a dude out in a minute. He want to be a crash dummy. He walking around with people that look at him like food, and then 2-3 years from now, he gonna be saying that it ain't no real ones. Jesus. I think his father was absolutely right. No, you said blame Leo Cohen. No, I'm blaming y'all. I'm blaming the whole culture. You can't promote something that's not necessarily there for you to promote. It's no way that I can go over here and I can create Indian music that speak to Indians and think that they just gonna automatically adopt it. That's not how it works. I would get rejected. Y'all always blaming somebody else instead of taking ownership and responsibility for the people that's in your own space. It's always easy to point the finger than it is to look in the mirror. Why is it so easy for y'all to blame somebody else just because they don't look like y'all? This dude grew up in a 2-parent household with his father in a gated community and still have access to incredible amount of resources in order for him to continue to make himself together or get himself together. And we still want to blame the man? Is it systematic oppression in that situation too? Does he deserve reparations in order for him to get his life together? He grew up in a gated community as emphasized by his father. Here, let me play it for you again.
Jai has to make a decision. Jai has been blessed with gifts and talents that can take him and change the outcome for his family. But everybody's not meant to go where you're going. And sometimes some of the people that have helped you get to these places, it's hard to say, man, I appreciate all the work and all the things that you've done when we've had nothing and you've helped. But I got to continue to move and go forward and try to do things the right way. And sometimes that means you don't got to cut people off, but you got to distance yourself a little bit. You can't be with people all the time and running around. I got a son. He raps. His rap name is Tut Tarantino. If you ever listen to some of his raps, I'm like, oh my God, where does this come from, son? You grew up in a gated community your whole life, but he's rapping my life because we romanticize and fantasize about that old thug life, ghetto life, and all of that stuff. When we used to work to get away from it, now we've gotten to a place somehow we're running back towards it in the music and everything. In the days I was coming up, all of those guys that you see, the John Morant's, them hanging around, those guys were still around us, Key. But it was they were like, get out of here. stop doing this. You got a chance to make it out of here the right way. So those guys would try to tell you to stop being in these neighborhoods, stop hanging out, go do what you have to do. It's not like that now. The guys are more hanging on and want to go with guys, and you're tearing up careers. I mean, we got to be good enough in the neighborhood to know when God has touched somebody with that gift that time is talking about, and be good enough to say, hey, man, you shouldn't be around here. You shouldn't be doing things. You got a chance to do it the right way and change a lot of lives and help out our people. And we got to be strong enough to do that.
When I was coming up, and I was raised between 7 Mile and 8 Mile, Norfolk and Chippewa, between Wyoming and Livernois, right? Crack house, 2 houses down, right across the street. But I was raised in a 2-parent household. I had my father, and my father made the sacrifice when I was in middle school because he seen me going down the wrong path in order to send me to one of the best private schools in the city, in the entire state, right? And so for 7th and 8th grade, I went to private school, and instead of my father buying a car, he sent me to private school, and then I wound up going to public school, in which I went to Cass Tech my last 4 years, and I went to a Detroit public school, which is still a phenomenal school. So I had to catch the bus back and forth, and I knew what a sense of duty was because I had been taught the difference between right and wrong and right when it comes to our cultural norms. And even when it came to our neighborhoods, right? The OGs called out what we seen was negative. And my brothers was 6 and 7 years older than me, and my youngest brother is 6 years younger than me. And when they seen me, because we were the family and we were the household that then allowed for people to be able to come in that had broken households, and kids would come over and hoop in our backyard because our father had built us a half court in the backyard with the lights and everything right there, right? And the interesting thing about that is we would have kids staying the night at our house and all of that, so on and so forth. So much so to where my father got a nickname as Tree Father because he was the one that bared profitable, good fruit, even though we had a lot of bad apples in the neighborhood, right? That was his nickname in the hood. It was Tree Father. Weirdly enough, I never understood it until I got older and he passed away, or a little bit before he passed away, and we had a conversation about it, right? And it's interesting, though, because I knew I was different. I knew I was different. I had a father, and despite the fact that we didn't have a whole lot of resources and we stayed in the hood because we didn't know it was the hood, we just thought it was cool. That's all we knew because that's all I had experienced in my life, right? Until I started seeing things differently when I went to private school. And so when I would come around and I was cool with everybody, but then when they would be doing stuff that would be a little bit more unsavory, or they would be about to get into something and I didn't know it, they made sure that they said, hey, fam, you can't come. No, this ain't for you, Anton. I was the young boy because I was always looking up to my brother, so I was hanging around the older dudes and all. No, you can't come, bro. This ain't for you. You got a different life ahead of you. You smarter than the rest of us. You going places. You going to be something. I want you to actually let your life. Man, I'm going to be real with you. I had dudes in the hood that said, man, no, we not going to make it, but you are. We living every day like it's going to be the end of the road for us, but you going to be different. And I couldn't understand it then, but not only was my father and my community and my uncles and my pastor and my church, but it was also the dudes in the hood that recognized who I was, and they respected my father and they respected my family. And they came to me and they said, look, you not going to be like us. You're going to be something great. You're going to be something successful. You're going to lead people. You're going to help people. You're going to pour into people. We need people like you to be a little bit different. You can't come to the crack house. We'll come and hoop with you, but you can't come and hang with us when we go and do this over here. That's the honest to God truth on my father's life. They wouldn't let me come and hang out with them when they did certain things. And I was young because I was looking up to the older dudes, and I'm like, no, but they recognized it. And thankfully, I listened even as a young man. And it didn't mean that I didn't get into trouble and I didn't do stuff, but I didn't get into the type of stuff that would allow for me to ruin my future. I didn't get into the type of things that would allow for me to get arrested and catch a felony on my record. I didn't ruin my life because I had better influences. So now I have a greater responsibility on my life. And when I see you dudes, and I'm not even talking to the dudes in the hood, I'm talking about all of y'all that keep running in the Victim Olympics thinking that you deserve or you need to be like everybody else. You are not. You are separate. You were born to be different. You were born to be leaders. You were born to be kings. You are not supposed to be sitting here in the mire with everybody else. You're supposed to be figuring out how you can get a ladder and then giving it over to the other people so that they can bring themselves out of the mire and give them the truth. It's going to hurt. They're going to not like you because of it, because the overwhelming majority of people have demons all over their life and all over their body. And so what happens is they're going to criticize you. They're going to come after you. They're going to say that you a nerd. They're going to say that you corny. They're going to say you ain't for the culture. They're going to call you an Uncle Tom because they never read the story and understood that Uncle Tom was actually the hero. And so what they're going to do is they're going to come at you and they're going to ostracize you. And so you're going to have to gird up. You're going to have to read. You're going to have to understand. You're going to have to stay under your mentors and get a sense of failure about you in order to be able to fail forward and understand that once you get to the spotlight, your character is going to carry you with places where the success couldn't keep you. And so everybody that got it and it was given over to them, it's a little bit different for you because you in the best of both worlds. You never was given it, but at the same time, you have the opportunity to acquire it, and you have the character and the influences that then take you to places that the hood can't take you to, and the people that was given to it, they don't know what it's like to go through it, so they don't know what it's like to build it, and they're going to fumble and they're going to fall when they finally get it in their hands. And so you have a unique opportunity to do some incredible things if you are of the culture, but you're not from the culture, because you can see the truth. And it's your job to tell the truth. It's your job to give people the insight and the information, because when it's all said and done, and when everything in the smoke clears, all of the people that was criticizing you, they're going to need you. That's why forgiveness is so important. That's why we pray the prayer, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. That's why we say that stuff. That's why we live it. That's why our life have to be a reflection of it. You can't do what everybody else do. I can't do what everybody else do. I can't be out here with a bunch of hoes running around. You know why? It's not just because I'm a good person. It's because I don't have no choice, and it's other people that's depending on me to do what I'm supposed to do so that they can do what they're supposed to do. So if other people are waiting on you to get your life together in order for them to be what they're supposed to be, it's not fair, but that's just what life is. Then you're going to have to fulfill your purpose. That's just what it is. I can't do what everybody else do. I can't be in the same places that everybody else be in. I can't do business bad. I can't be out here finessing. I can't have a bunch of kids that's out of wedlock over here. I can't live my life like everybody else because I have a calling on my life, and so do you. The difference is you not living in it and you not walking in it, and it's unfortunate because somebody else is dependent on you for it. And I don't understand it. Why you want to be like everybody else? Everybody else want to be like everybody else. Don't nobody want to be who they called to be, and everybody trying to figure out who they are. It's right in front of you. I don't have time for it because I have a purpose that I have to serve. If y'all want to keep calling yourselves Christians and you want to be Christ-like, then live it like them, because the small amount of time that he had on this earth, he did some incredible things. And he didn't have the luxury to be out here doing the stuff that he wanted to do. You know why? Because he had to go and die for people that didn't give a F about him. He had to go and forgive people, even though they was trying to kill him at the same time. Forgive them, Lord. They know not what they do. You over here worried about what everybody think about you instead of being worried about how it is that you can help somebody out of the spaces that they're supposed to be in. That ain't you. And you not that. And it don't have to be for everybody else, but they dependent on you. We all interconnected. It's similar to Avatar. It's literally similar to Avatar. We're all interconnected. Without me doing what I'm supposed to do, then I might not be able to give you what you need, because you're going to meet me at a certain space in your life, and I'm going to have to be here in order for you to get there. And if I'm not girding it up, if I'm not the person that I'm supposed to be, you can't get what you need when you finally come across me. And that's another soul loss. Another person that get over to the devil, and he get to do whatever it is that he want, and he win another soul. And that's why the path is narrow, because there's not enough people opening up and creating a pathway for other people to get to success. In everything, not just in spirituality, not just in money, not just in your relationships. You have to be it. You have to be a beacon of it. And then you don't have to worry about the money aspect of it, fam. I promise you, the money is going to come. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. You don't have to chase the money. The money comes with it.